A new day has begun. Amidst the undulating hills of Montana, where golden grasses gently waved in the morning. Originally, Horizon Hills was a small equine refuge. The refuge, which is surrounded by untamed mountains and boundless skies, has transformed into a therapeutic haven for both human and equine damaged spirits. A remarkable journey that would alter attitudes and rethink what was feasible when patients faced dread started then. Jack Thompson got out of bed as the first rays of dawn painted the sky in pink and gold stripes, his aging bones standing up to the morning cold. He saw Emily, his granddaughter, sitting peacefully close to Spirit's paddock outside through the kitchen window. 6 months prior, Spirit, a fearsome Mustang with a dark coat that gleamed like polished ebony, had come to the refuge. He had only ever experienced pain and distrusted human hands. "Good morning, my love," Jack whispered quietly as he brought a plate of breakfast to Emily's seat. Her sketchbook, which was open on her lap, was full of intricate illustrations of Spirit. She smiled slightly, the first since she had arrived, but she didn't answer right away. "Did you suspect that you were hungry?" Emily's path has been as difficult as ghosts. Her voice had also been taken by the accident that killed her parents. It wasn't a physical loss, but she had emotionally withdrew into quiet, only finding comfort in sketching and keeping a safe distance from the outside world. Now, Jack observed her closely as her fingers meticulously traced the lines of Spirit's portrait. "Spirit and you have more in common than you realize," Jack said, picking his words carefully. He hesitated so she could think. "You two came here afraid and broken." One more pause. However, observe him now as he is rediscovering trust. After hovering above the page, Emily's pencil moved gently through the nearby barn's window. Spirit gazed at them, his ears perking up curiously. There's been a noticeable change in the Mustang. A new light appeared in his eyes, a glimmer of curiosity taking the place of the persistent fear, even if he was still wary. Emily found herself standing closer to Spirit's paddock than ever later that morning when the sun warmed the ground. Carefully approaching, the Mustang came to a stop just out of reach. Holding his breath, Jack observed Emily offering a piece of apple with her hand held palm up. Spirit paused as he took in this new information, his nostrils burning. Jack knew better than to break the silence, but he murmured, "That's it." Spirit lowered his head and touched Emily's palm with his velvety soft muzzle after what seemed like a lifetime. As Jack saw his breakthrough and the start of a relationship that would permanently alter their lives, he shed a single tear. Emily and Spirit established a pattern during the ensuing weeks. She would sit by his pasture every morning and draw his figure while presenting him with little snacks. Spirit gradually started to feel more at ease rather than afraid when she was around. Mutual understanding and shared silences strengthened their relationship, a language that spoke to their wounded souls directly and went beyond words. Emily encountered her biggest obstacle to date one day as storm clouds began to form on the horizon. With the storm approaching, Spirit had been agitated and his old anxieties had returned. Emily chose to approach rather than run away, her diminutive body being overshadowed by the strong animal. The moment was stretched taut, like a bowstring, and Jack watched nervously from the barn doorway, prepared to step in if necessary. Spirit's muscles tensed up, ready to go, but Emily held her ground and held out her hand in silent comfort. A faint rumble of thunder was followed by a distant flash of lightning. Spirit's ears flattened, yet he chose to comfort Emily rather than run away, pressing close to her. Jack realized he had been holding his breath and let out a shaky exhale. He watched as Emily put her arms around Spirit's neck through the starting rain, softly assuring each other in whispers. In response, the Mustang put his head on her shoulder and remained grounded despite a minor tremor in his body. Their relationship underwent a sea change at this crucial juncture, as mutual understanding and cooperation replaced the earlier mistrust and dread. Emily started making gradual progress toward riding Spirit as the days stretched into weeks, with each accomplishment building on the one before it. They didn't make linear progress. Despite obstacles and periods of uncertainty, their bond remained strong throughout. The community became aware of their incredible adventure. Features on the once dangerous Mustang and the Silent Girl were published in the local media. Tourists started coming to Horizon Hills in the hopes of seeing this unique duo. Dr. Sarah Miller, an expert in equine behavior from a state university, was one of them. During her first visit, Dr. Miller observed Emily working with Spirit in the round pen and remarked, "I've reviewed your documentation. What you're doing here has the potential to completely change how we treat injured Mustangs." She took thorough notes while Emily explained their communication strategies, body language, and subtle hand gestures, all of which Spirit responded to with increasing assurance. Influential people outside of a local community took notice of their work. After learning about the sanctuary's accomplishments, affluent philanthropist Pamela White paid them a visit. She made a significant financial offer to further the sanctuary's purpose after being deeply moved by what she saw. With her help, they were able to create programs for kids going through similar experiences as Emily and save more Mustangs. Preparations for a major display at the Montana State Fair started as winter gave way to spring. This event would promote the sanctuary's innovative rehabilitation techniques, in addition to Emily and Spirit's accomplishments. Horizon Hills was buzzing with nervous excitement as they got ready to tell their story to a larger audience. On the day of the event, the Helena Fairgrounds saw a sizable audience due to the clear, crisp September weather. With Spirit's trailer hitched, Jack operated the sanctuary's truck as Emily sat next to him, going over her notes. The butterflies in her tummy were concealed by her normally reserved manner. Jack reassured her, observing her quick page-turning, that it's acceptable to feel a little afraid. Spirit very likely has the same sentiments. Emily tightened her hold on the notebook, but gave a small nod. Both of them were aware that this public appearance was more than a mere act. It served as confirmation of their diligence and evidence that people may recover from even the most severe injuries. The air at the fairgrounds was brimming with excitement. The captivating tale of the girl and the Mustang drew a large number of spectators to the stands surrounding the tiny stadium. Thomas Wilson, who had previously criticized the sanctuary's practices, was seated among them and was now observing with considerable interest. Camera clicks and murmured conversations filled the air. A silence descended among the audience as Emily escorted Spirit onto the arena. Sensing the strange surroundings, the Mustang tensed briefly before settling down to Emily's soothing touch. She started their presentation with easy moves before introducing increasingly difficult ones. Spirit's confidence increased with every task completed well, and he responded more eagerly to Emily's careful guidance. The audience erupted in spontaneous applause as Emily eventually rode Spirit and led him through a pattern around the arena. After being momentarily terrified, Spirit immediately calmed down beneath Emily's comforting hand. She turned to face the throng after gracefully dismounting and giving him a tender neck rub. She addressed the crowd directly for the first time since coming to the refuge. In response to her grandfather's earlier worries, she answered in a quiet but clear voice that he wasn't afraid at all. Despite their simplicity, the words have deep meaning. Jack took 3 steps across the gap between them and gave his granddaughter a strong embrace. As he recognized the full scope of their accomplishment, tears streamed freely down his grizzled cheeks. Jack said in a deep, emotional voice, "You both did it. You both saved each other." The sanctuary community was struck by the enormity of this revelation. What started out as an effort to rehabilitate a dangerous horse had developed into something much more, demonstrating the strength of endurance, faith, and unwavering support. Opportunities started to pour into Horizon Hills following their triumph. Universities acknowledged the potential of their approaches to revolutionize equine rehabilitation procedures across the country and indicated interest in formal research partnerships. By creating programs especially intended to assist traumatized children via connection with rescued Mustangs, the sanctuary broadened its aim. The foundation of these new activities was Emily's journey from silence to speech. Her observations, expressed in both words and deeds, served as a roadmap for the creation of therapeutic philosophies that prioritize comprehension over judgment and patience above coercion. Pamela White's Spirit Scholarship made it possible for additional kids with comparable struggles to take use of the sanctuary's special setting as the seasons changed and it grew. Spirit and Emily carried on with their job, serving as representatives of their communities. Their narrative served as live evidence that no spirit is too broken to mend when given the time and space to heal in its own way and at its own speed, and that no soul is beyond reach when approached with kindness. More injured youngsters and traumatized horses were admitted to the larger refuge, each with their own special requirements and difficulties. However, they now had a tried-and-true foundation for healing because of Emily and Spirit's groundbreaking journey. One based on the straightforward reality that sometimes the strongest bonds are formed when people encounter each other in trust rather than strength, vulnerability, or assurance. Jack thought back on their adventure as the stars appeared in the Montana sky on a calm evening. They had come together because of the storm. A mute youngster discovering her voice and a last-ditch bet on a perilous horse had turned into something lovely. Both humans and horses could see the way ahead thanks to the sanctuary light's warm glow against the night. In a society that frequently prioritizes conformity over connection and haste over depth, their story served as a priceless reminder that even the most fearful hearts might rediscover trust with enough time and understanding. Their greatest achievement lay in this fact, not just in curing personal injuries, but also in establishing a paradigm of possibility and hope that might have an impact on innumerable lives that have not yet been touched. Their journey's lesson was straightforward but deep. Treating superficial wounds alone is not enough for true recovery. It necessitates establishing circumstances in which trust can develop organically and where careful understanding can turn fear into courage. As demonstrated by Spirit and Emily, sometimes the most effective treatment is not intervention, but rather just being present and letting healing happen in its own time.